Hey everyone, it's TC Hiker back with another video in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Today we got a nice traverse planned out. We're going to be doing the Wildcat traverse from the 19-mile Brook trailhead, which is where we are right now, all the way back to the Pinkham Visitor Center. So this traverse does require either a second car stationed at one of the ends, or alternatively, which is what I did, you could take the AMC Hiker shuttle bus from the Pinkham Visitor Center down here to the 19-mile Brook trailhead on Route 16, and you can just do the traverse that way. So yeah, we're going to be doing the Wildcat Ridge, which has five 4,000-foot peaks along it, aptly named Wildcats A, B, C, D, and E, which get progressively lower in elevation as you go along. But to start, we're going to take the 19-mile Brook Trail, very nice scenic trail along the brook here, which you can hear in the background. We'll take it about 3.5 miles up to Carter Notch. We might stop by the hut to refill on water, and then we will go up the steep ascent up Wildcat Ridge. This traverse is just over 8 miles. Most of the elevation is going to be done after we ascend to the Carter Notch, go over 5 peaks, and then go down, pretty steep descent down to the Lost Pond Trail, and then we'll take that out to Pinkham Notch. So, but for now, enjoy this nice peaceful 19-mile Brook Trail for the next 3-ish miles or so. About 1.9 miles in, you'll get to the first trail junction of this traverse. This is the Carter Dome Trail that goes up to Mountain Heights, Carter Dome, and the northern section of the Carter Range. But for now, we're going to the Wildcat. So that's actually on the opposite side of Carter Notch, up there. I don't know why I'm pointing the camera up there because you can't actually see the mountains. But you'll just continue to the direction of Carter Notch Hut. And this junction sort of marks the halfway point between the trailhead and the huts and the trail junction for the AT, which is what we'll take later. And trail hasn't changed much since I last updated you all. A bit more bouldery, but nothing out of the ordinary for this area. If anything, that previous section that was all smooth and wide was more out of the ordinary for this area. But you see we have a little brook crossing and trying not to fall in. Yeah, we're just going to continue following the brook trail up the hill. So we have made it to Carter Notch. This is the trail junction for the Wildcat Ridge Trail, also the Appalachian Trail. You can see with the white blazes, that's where we're gonna go up that insanely steep slope there. But first, I thought we could make a little pit stop at the AMC Carter Notch Hut, and 0.3 miles, just continue down the 19-mile Brook Trail. And we have made it to the Carter Notch Hut. You can see this is where the main building is, and then we also have the bunkhouses and bathrooms just up that trail. You can see that other building right through those trees. And up there we got Carter Dome. And then right above us is Wildcat. That's where we're gonna go next. So let's get ready, because this next climb is going to be steep. And we have made it back to that initial junction here with the Wildcat Ridge Trail. So we're gonna go up that. It's a 0.7 to the A peak, which is the first one on the ridge. And just to put into perspective, the sort of average elevation gain per mile around here is about 1,000 feet. And that first section of the 19-mile Brook Trail started about 1,500 feet, and we're now about 3,400 or 3,500 feet. So 2,000 feet in like almost 4 miles is very mild for this area, trust me. But in contrast, we have to climb almost 1,000 feet in 0.7, so it's gonna be quite steep going up here. Nothing too bad in terms of technical rock scrambles or anything, but just gonna be very steep. We have made it to the summit of Wildcat A peak. This is the highest peak of the range here. The true summit, I think, is just behind me, but it's in the trees, nothing much to see there. This is the actual view. You can see down there is where we just came from. That is the Carter Notch Hut, believe it or not. We climbed up all of this. It was extremely steep. Nothing too dangerous. There are a lot of like stone staircases to help the ascent, but nonetheless, it was pretty steep. So I'll just give you all a tour of the mountain range here. This is Carter Dome. You got Mount Heights just to the left. Then you got South Carter, Middle Carter, and North Carter back there. To the left, behind the trees, is the Presidentials. You can see down there is the town of Gorham. It's kind of overcast, so the visibility isn't great today, but you have some nice layers of blue colors down here. And over there are the mountains of Maine. We are pretty close to the New Hampshire-Maine border, believe it or not. But we're gonna continue on. Trail continues up there, and we're gonna knock out the entire ridge. And shortly after that first summit, Wildcat A, we are now just passing over Wildcat B. No views, unfortunately, for this summit, but I just want to take a moment just to showcase this beautiful trail here. Pretty much this entire ridge is just all super mossy, nice walk through a boreal forest. You got the traditional makeup of fir and spruce. Pretty sheltered from the wind too, because none of it is above tree line. So overall, once you get that insanely steep ascent out of the way, it's a pretty pleasant walk. We are now going over the summit of Wildcat C, and from here things will get a bit more steep in terms of the descent and the ascent. The first 3 peaks were relatively close to each other in terms of both mileage and prominence, but the descent off of C and then the ascent going up to D is a bit longer. With that being said, this is super flat overall in terms of ridge walks relative to other New Hampshire ridge walks. So if you like just nice, easy, flat ridge walks, then the Wildcats are for you. So this is the first time along this hike where we've gotten a good view of the Presidential Range. You can see over there Madison, Adams, Jefferson, Washington with a cloud perfectly placed right over it as usual. You got Boot Spur, and over here you can actually see the rest of the ridge that we're about to do. So we're going to go down just a bit over those 2 little bumps, and then the peak to the right is Wildcat D, and then to the left is Wildcat E. And we'll go down into that valley way down below, and that's where we will end our hike. Now approaching the summit of Wildcat D, and this tends to be one of the more well-known wildcats, not only because it has a huge observation platform up here, but also it's because the Wildcat ski resort goes up this peak and Wildcat E, so people who are skiers will likely know this area and observation platform. But you see we got a nice little view, obscured a bit by these trees over here, but looks like Washington is clearing up just a bit, and otherwise pretty overcast. And here is the top of the Wildcat ski area. We have the Wildcat Express lift that goes all the way from the top down to the bottom, and Wildcat D is just up there, and Wildcat E is right up there. And this is definitely one of the more scenic ski areas in the Northeast when it comes to just the views you get from the top, because having Mount Washington and the rest of the presidentials right in front of you is pretty hard to beat. But anyway, let's keep going on the Wildcat Bridge Trail. Passing over our final peak of the ridge, Wildcat E. And now that means we're going down. And given how relatively flat this ridge was throughout the entire Wildcat range here, let's just say you can expect a similar caliber of descent compared to the Ascent from Carter Dome. I'll put it that way. So this is what going down has looked like so far. As you can tell, it's pretty steep. Definitely a bit more technical than the Ascent Wildcat A, but I mean, at least they're nice enough to give us some wooden steps up the more challenging rock faces here. But we're not that far out. You can see the highway down there. It's just a matter of getting all of this vertical done in a short amount of mileage here. And 1.5 miles and 2,100 feet of vertical descent later, we're at the bottom of the mountain here. You can see the AT continues that way, Lost Pond Trail, towards Pinkham Notch in 1 mile. This trail towards Glen Boulder is actually closed at the moment past the Ellis River crossing. The Glen Ellis scenic area is currently under construction. That's closed at the moment. So when you get down here, you'll just take a right on the Lost Pond Trail to head back to Pinkham Notch in 1 mile. And from here, it's mostly all flat. There are a couple of scrambles near the shore of the pond, but other than that, it's should be no problem compared to what we just went down. As we cross over this final boardwalk here, over this wetland, we have made it back to Pinkham Notch Visitor Center. So this whole traverse ended up being just over 9 miles actually. I think the out and back detour to the hut definitely adds some mileage. But yeah, definitely a very fun traverse, especially near the end on all those descents. Very fun trail. Definitely would not recommend doing that descent when the rocks are wet, because you need to rely on them a lot to have a proper foothold to get down. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll end off this video with a nice view of Mount Washington and Huntington Ravine above. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.